Hey guys, I'm just doing an interview with top producers and the owners of Powerhouse Realty in Prince George, Canada. And they're going to give you a little bit of tips of what you guys should be doing at this point while you waiting for your exams and while you have that extra time in your hands. Cam?
What they should be doing right now, my advice would be working on a database. Right? If they have time to kill while they're waiting for their exam to come up, just start really delving into creating a good database of contacts and clients and past, friends, family, business associates, anybody they can to really farm a good database. It'd be a good starting point, so they can sort of hit the ground running a little bit when they get licensed.
Okay, so when you say database, that means they just have to collect the information, or do you want them to reach out to them and say, okay, hey, I'm getting into the real estate? Or at this point, not much reaching out?
Well, one of the best ways to do it is when you're going through it, right when they start their course, or even before they start their course. That's probably the best time. Reach out to somebody and say that they know, and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of going into real estate. What are your thoughts? 9 times out of 10, you'll get that response. Oh, I think you'll be great at that. So from there, you've already got the open dialogue. You can say, awesome. I appreciate your words of encouragement. Could I add your name, address, phone number to my database, so when I get going, I can send you some useful information and get in touch with you. And then from there, I mean, you probably got about a 75% chance of somebody just saying, okay, here's all my information. So, reach out to everybody that you've been in contact with, send out letters, that type of thing. Get those people going so that they're used to associating your name with real estate. That was one of the early challenges I had. I mean, my background, I was a bouncer, I was ex-military, I was oil patch, so there was a lot of things that people didn't associate me with real estate. And a funny story, Mark, one of the guys that set up the chairs at my wedding, went to Mark when I got my license to sell 2 properties for him. And then Mark was graceful enough to co-list those with me. And then after that, this really good friend of mine realized that I was actually pretty serious about this being my career, and then listed with my business partner and I when they moved to Calgary, their home. But the big deficiency for me when I started was I didn't do enough things to connect my name with real estate. So when the people that knew me before, they connected my name with military and oil patch work and bouncing, complete 180 from real estate. So I didn't really do a good enough job making those connections. So that would be my advice to anybody starting.
Even now, he looks a little like a shadowy figure, doesn't he?
He does. He's like a silhouette.
That's right.
You get better lighting in there, Brian.
Okay, so while GOBC students are waiting for their exams, right? So they can start creating their database. So that means they have to talk. So I understand what database is. So can you explain them, Cam? What are you referring to?
I'd say just a contact list, basically. And you got to delve a little deeper. You got to think a little bit outside of the box. So you might think, okay, I have a plumber that I use on a regular basis. That's a good contact to have as a realtor, an electrician. So you start thinking of professions. And you think of maybe some other things like your dentist you go to, your hairdresser, or whoever it might be, things like that, as well as, of course, friends and family. You just start farming this, like Brian mentioned, maybe sending out an introductory letter. I'm working on getting my real estate license. I'm very excited about this, that sort of stuff. You've got to be a little cautious of the Privacy Act, so make sure you don't sort of contravene that. But it's just a really good starting point, because the first thing you do, especially when we do the training here with Buffini, is you're going to have to start contacting your database. So if you already have one pre-established, it really allows you to sort of hit the ground running.
Okay, Mark?
Oh, yeah. If I was doing this, like, you know what? I had somebody, his name was Randy Cowling, it was Royal LePage, Coronation West in Coquitlam, said this to me. As you get a pad and paper and start making a list of everyone you know right now. Did I do it? No, I didn't. And if I was redoing it right now, I would get myself a CRM, and I would, of course, you got to study and pass your test, so that's a high priority. But make a list of everyone that you know, just like Cam said, and start being creative, because it's amazing how many people we know. this becomes the driver of your business when you start off. I totally agree. That's what I'd be the number one thing, because you can always do that while you're studying your test. That's the most proactive thing you
And
can
why
do.
is it so important though?
Well, because it's relationships. These are the people who are going to be buying and selling houses off of you. And like Brian said, people don't associate you as a realtor. Almost probably 95 times out of 100, people think of you as what you did before. So, all right, so Cam was a really good hairdresser, but I can't see him as someone who sells houses and negotiates contracts. Or Brian was a Green Beret. I could see him climbing a rope over
He gets to
top
be a
of
Green
the
Beret and I get to be a hairdresser? Really?
Well, I can't see negotiation and market savvy coming from Brian, right? So, and I think that is a huge obstacle that almost everyone has to overcome. They have to. Brian Buffini talks about competence and care. So they have to know that you care, but you have to establish that you're also competent, right? And that competency is at least as important as that relationship, right?
Okay, so
So
they're gonna create the list right now. So they're gonna contact those people and say, "Hey, I'm getting into the real estate right now." So would they ask them anything? Would you be comfortable to work with me as a real estate agent or anything like this at this point, or would you not say anything at this point?
I'd be impressed if they just made the list. You don't have time to do it. Like, you have to study your can off. Plus, yeah, start making a list of everyone you know. But if you happen to be somehow so ahead of the game, where you're actually able to do some kind of mail out and actually like start or phone them and reach out to them, that's fantastic. But that's a lot of work. I mean, I would focus on studying. Second, make a list of everyone you know. That's a lot of work.
But now, when they have a bit of time, now's a good time. That's a good thing for them to be doing while they have some time, while they can wait to write the exam. But I don't think I'd be sending out something like, "Hey, can I be your realtor?" That might be a little bit too early, but at least get them sort of plant that seed that this is the profession they're going to start pursuing.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So just build the relationships, and then even people that you might not even think of, like hairdressers, right? And the plumbers and people that come, the Telus guy comes and installs stuff in your house or something, right? So anybody that you might know, even your neighbors, right? Yep. So all of those people that should be on your list. Brian, how did you overcome that? People looked at you before as a bouncer and all the other things. So how did you get over that? And how did people start looking at you as the actual real estate agent?
I kind of, a lot of people, statistically, they get their first sales from their sphere of influence. And because everything that I've done in my life is so basically opposite of real estate and sales. I did car sales for a little bit, but other than that, you don't look at my resume and go, this guy's going to be an awesome realtor. That's just, nobody really made that connection with me. So actually I did completely different. I relied on outside sources. I went out, I did a lot of door knocking to get my name out there. I did a lot of just meet and greet. Here's a business card. I'm a realtor. So once I started getting my traction outside of my sphere, then the social proof, get just, oh, hey, I sold another one, getting it out on social media. And then people within my sphere started going, okay, maybe this does work with him, and then now there's that direct connection. But for me, it wasn't, my first sales weren't through friends, family, anything like that. I actually nose to the grindstone and went out and generated my first listings, my first sales, that type of thing. So it does take quite a bit of work, but it can be done.